Woo, 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 woo. Greetings. This is the gospel according to Mark. Markala with a C. He is I, and I am he. I am here to take some time to tell you what is on my mind. Check it out. What's up, my peoples? Last Thursday, I saw Black Panther. And let me tell you something. It was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I went in not knowing what to think, of course, because there was a lot of hype surrounding the movie, and I'm not one to kind of buy into all of that hype bullshit, especially since they hyped up The Last Jedi, and we all know what happened with that. So I went in, not really expecting too much, but what I got was a thoroughly satisfying, unexpectedly poignant movie, and a very solid entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, might I add. Black Panther, played most nobly by Chadwick Boseman, and with a great assist by one Mr. Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger. Guys, it was the real deal. You know, what can I say? There isn't much that I can say against it. I'm not here to necessarily give you a review necessarily, as much as I am here to just make a few observations about the movie and why I appreciated it. It was not a perfect movie. It was perfect for me, but it wasn't perfect in terms of its execution. You know, there were probably a few points in the movie where it kind of dragged a little bit, but not that much, guys. Not that much where it was off-putting, for sure. And also the CGI, and certain people have pointed this out, the CGI was okay. At this point in the game, you expect a little bit better, but there were a couple of moments where it was like, damn, man, shit, you know? And there was one scene in particular, and I'm not going to get into too many spoilers on this one, but there was one scene in particular where I swear to God, it seemed like it was almost a cut and paste action scene from Spider-Man 3, of all things. It's like there's this scene where the hero and the villain are falling, and they're fighting each other, and they're falling down where there's a speeding train, and it just reminded me of that whole scene in Spider-Man 3 where Spider-Man was fighting Venom. If you watch those scenes side by side, I don't know, man, it just seems very, very similar. Ryan Coogler, I'm not trying to say that you did some underhanded plagiaristic type shit. I'm just saying it kind of put me in that frame of mind. You know what I mean? Woo! So anyway, other than that, I feel like this movie hit all the right marks, and I do understand that there are elements, for some reason, of this movie that's got people polarized. I mean, I swear, you could come out with a Rainbow Bright movie, and people would be polarized by that. These days, it just seems like we have no idea how to appreciate each other's differences without getting into some big freaking tug-of-war fight bullshit, you know? And Black Panther is no different. And so what we have here is, it seems like we have a predominantly black audience who are celebrating this movie and just loving it like to the high heavens. And then you have a segment of the, and it's not even the white exclusive community, it's just a more grounded segment of our population that wants to point out that it's just a movie, and it was created by some white people, so you black people, you didn't even create it. It's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, does it really bother people that there's a segment of the population that has been so downgraded and so and so hurt as far as their self-esteem? Does it really hurt everybody else that these people get a champion of a movie, that they would be dancing in the streets and celebrating and be proud of their heritage? How does that fucking hurt anybody? Let people celebrate, okay? I grew up reading comics. I appreciate all of the comics, especially Marvel comics. I love me some Marvel comics. So I have a great, great appreciation for the creative genius of Stan Lee and all of the writers over at Marvel, as well as the artists. I mean, I used to try to draw like a lot of the artists. Like, I really, really love Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. To me, that's like the essence right there. Everything that came after that was beautiful. John Byrne, I love John Byrne. And who was the other one? I think Perez. was it George Perez? I love those artists. And Neil Adams, oh shit, man, what he did on Batman was revolutionary. I love it, love it, love it. So anyway, there's a lot of creative genius that went into creating these comics. And those of us who collected the comics had to put up with a lot of abuse from people over the years. Because while we were loving our comics, there were a lot of people out there who were ridiculing us, us comic fanboys types, but man, if it hasn't become a multi-billion-dollar industry, I know my pops is sorry he used to rip up my homemade comics back in the day. Me and my brother, God rest him, we used to spend days upon days laying on the floor, perfecting our craft as cartoonists, as comic book artists. And every time my pops got mad at us, he used to just rip up our comics and throw them out. And after a while, we just said, fuck it, man. I ain't doing it. You know what I mean? So he effectively killed our dreams. Love my father, but man, and he apologized for it later. So you know what I mean? Bygones, you know what I mean? And I've gone on to a very fulfilling career as a, not going to talk about it, as a dancer. So anyway, getting back to Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, fantastic job. Michael B. Jordan, once again, coming through with the intensity. His character was so multi-layered. It was a sinister character. It was I don't want to say he was an evil character. He was a deeply, deeply damaged and disturbed young man. But somehow he brought a sympathy. He brought a vulnerability and ultimately a tragedy to his character. And I really, really appreciated it. It was very, very well done. And if you've grown up in this country as a so-called African American, there are certain issues and questions that the Michael B. Jordan Killmonger character brought to the movie that's probably going to have you, it's going to have you in your feelings a little bit. I don't know what much more to say about that. It was just a very, very deep character, and his final line that he has in the movie just tore me apart. So not even going to get into it. Like I said, I don't want to get into spoilers, but the backup cast, fucking awesome. You had Lupita Nyong'o as Nakia. You had the sister who played Michonne, Denai Guerrera. She played, what was it? I have some notes here. She played Okoye, I believe. Yeah, Okoye, her name is. And, of course, Letitia. I forget her last name, but anyway, Letitia. she played T'Challa's little sister, Shuri, and I think it's Letitia Wright. And also this brother, his name was Winston Duke. He played M'Baku, and the brother from Get Out, Daniel Kaluuya, he played Wakabi. And his character was the only character I kind of had a problem with because he makes a very questionable decision or a course of action throughout the movie, and I kind of understood why he made that choice, but what I didn't understand is why he continued to make that choice after it became apparent to him that that was a bad choice to make. Like, I didn't understand quite that particular character, but other than that, they just had a fantastic supporting cast. Can't forget the lovely Angela Bassett. My God, she brought something to this movie that really brought the class. It really brought some substance as T'Challa's mother, of course. And we have Forrest Whitaker playing one of the elders who had a very curious and important tie to the past, in this movie. And the way that the plot played out. So, I just feel like Marvel hit one out of the park. It wasn't jokey. It wasn't like they didn't put in like gratuitous humor where it didn't belong. It was definitely a hero's journey. T'Challa had some very hard lessons to learn. He had to doubt himself. He had to face defeat. He had to come back. Like, there was so much to root for in this movie, and it was perfectly executed. And oh yeah, I want to mention Andy Serkis as Claw was a freaking hoot, man. It's like I loved him in this movie. He was a scene stealer for sure. I'm not going to say much more about it, but he's a trip. You know what I mean? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. You got to see it, man. And Martin Freeman, of course, he played Agent Ross. he was another good character. It was a very, very solid cast, guys. And like I said before, it's a fucking great time. I am very satisfied with this movie after being let down by The Last Jedi. I didn't know what to expect, and this movie delivered, man. So, you guys check it out, man. Check it out, and judge for yourself, because all the hype on both sides, I believe, is a little bit too much. You know what I mean? You have people who are acting like this is the fucking second coming of Jesus on this side, and then, or I should say, Kunta on this side. I'm so sorry, y'all, but I can't help myself. And then on this side, you got people who are committed to, oh, it's not really all that. Thor Ragnarok was better. Yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I love this movie. I thank you, Stan Lee. I thank you, Jack Kirby. I thank you, Marvel Cinematic Universe, for giving the Black Panther the respect that he deserves. I just want to give an interesting little side note. This weekend, I went to go see Marvel Universe live with my son. And actually, it was just yesterday. I just saw it with him. We had a blast. It was a great, great live show, guys. If it comes to your town, go check it out, man. And one of the things that I thought was very beautiful is that when all of the characters had their moment to come out and be acknowledged, Black Panther came out and the place went wild, man. I'm talking black kids, I'm talking white kids, I'm talking Eskimo kids, like all of them just went crazy. And I thought that was great, because something like 10, 15 years ago, nobody would have known who the hell Black Panther was. But Marvel, they're doing such a great job of introducing their characters into the movies that this is what you get. You know what I mean? So Black Panther came out. Everybody went crazy, and I just think that was just a great moment, man. I just love it, love it, love it. And like I said, it just it vindicates all of us little fanboys, who grew up having to take heat, for being into comics and all that shit. I just love the way it's going down, man. I love it. And I'm looking forward to Infinity War, and I saw, what was it? The trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp. That looks good, so... Man, we doing our thing, man, and I just love it. So, Black Panther, check it out. Let me know what you think. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on. Woo, 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 woo.